Hello, how you doing? James Weber Salmon, and we're going to talk about ambient guitar chords today. So this is going to be like a free flow kind of thing. So we're going to discuss chords, look at a little bit of how ambient music can be made on the guitar using ambient guitar chords, and talking about ambient music itself. So, ambient music is it's a peaceful kind of music. It's very lovely to listen to. I love listening to it. I love listening to it when I'm doing work, for example. I can put it on in the background, and it just chills me out. It's not there's not a lot going on usually. It's one of those kind of genres where you listen to it and there's enough space to let your mind do something else. So it's not like drum and bass or pop songs or metal where there's the lead melody or the lead rhythm going on. Excuse me, I have a cold. Well, I don't have one. I don't like to say I have one. I like to say I'm experiencing one. Yeah. So, and it's when you listen to ambient music, you can let your mind drift off, because it's like a mood for your mind, for your thoughts, and that's the same with all music. However, some music are more engaging, like lyrically, a lot of music talks to you. It tells you what to think, in a sense, through the lyrics. It's not like telling you must think this, but with lyrics, it's harder to think your own thoughts because there's already someone else talking. Now, with ambient music, you don't really get lyrics, so you have like a background for your own thoughts, and it's a nice peaceful flow as well. Really lovely. So without further ado, let's see how we can make some ambient guitar music. Key features of ambient music is that ambient music has no central beat, so there's no grounding rhythm. The rhythm is free flow, which means that melodies and beats will come in, like rhythmic phrases, melodic phrases, but they're set against a harmony, some chords which play are usually stretched out like a pad. So you have, for instance, something like that you would have over a pad. Let's do that again. For instance, something like this, you would have melodies over the top. So you've got a chord and then melody over the top of it. Yeah. Now, whoops. Usually stays in one key. So here it would be in the key of A. And he uses slow rhythms. They're very laid back, or sometimes ambient music does have a beat. It's very laid back though. So boom, ga, boom, 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 ga. something like that. Now, let's move on. 3 things we're going to look at today specifically. The things I was playing there was a lot of techniques like the drone note. You've got that repeating A. And we're going to look at those kind of things in another lesson. Today we're going to look at spread triads, chord inversions, and beautiful chords. A add 9 and sus2 chords. Now we're focusing on chords first because they're the backdrop for the melodies and rhythms you can play over the top of them, as we looked at a little bit earlier. So first thing, the main concept of ambient chords is less is more. It's about how you voice your chords rather than how many chords there are, so to speak, how many notes there are. It's about how you use the notes. Oftentimes you'll only want one note playing, especially if you've got like a lovely slide riff. I'll just play one now. So for instance, you could have that over the top of a chord. The first thing we're going to look at is spread triads. Like we said, it's not really about the notes you have, it's about how you voice notes. Spread triads is all about that. Taking the old chords that you know and turning them into something really lovely. So, to start off with spread triads, we need to look at what a triad is first. A triad is a group of 3 notes. Typically, the root, third, and the fifth. If you are unsure of what this means, then I'll link in the description something for you to look at, so you can understand what I mean by the root, third, and fifth notes. Essentially, they're 3 core notes of a chord, and triad is the most common chord you'll get in music. You get a lot of chords, open chords, they're all triads, like C major, A major we've been playing, D, G, E. They all have a root, a third, and a fifth. With A, we've got a root, a third, and a fifth. With guitar, it's a little different, and piano, because you can have, it doesn't matter in what order really the notes come in. Generally you have the root first, but for instance here in the A chord we have the fifth, then the root again, and then the third. But it's still got the root, third, and fifth notes. Some are just repeated. So in a triad, each note is a third apart from each other. Now, what we're going to do first, we'll build a triad just to see what this will form the base for spread triads. So we start on any note of the major scale. Here we're going to start on the note D on the 5th string. Then we're going to pick a note a third higher than that, which will be F sharp. And this is what a third looks like. And then we're going to go 1 note higher and pick A. And so this is our triad. can also add the B note on top for a lovely, lovely voicing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay. Spread triads simply have one of the notes played an octave higher. So, difference between triads and spread triads is that spread triads have one of the notes played one octave higher. There's more space between the notes. For example, instead of playing with our notes a third apart, we can have the root, then a fifth, and then have a sixth interval, which is very large, for the third. And this is where the third has gone from here to here, and it's played one octave higher. Isn't it lovely? Yes. And we've got a bunch of other triads that are listed on the PDF provided on the blog post. So you can see all the other spread triads there. For instance, we've got this one, major and minor. We've got our majors. Listen down, I get to rolling stone like a window dream. I get a fiery gold. So now I find the morning way. I know it's gonna be a long, long, long day. Long, long day, gotta live. To know I get a lot so high. Get to know I get a lot so high. I get to know it's loving on the dreams I'm found. Yeah, my soul is so low. Let my soul begin. Yeah, buddy. And then we've got the minors as well. You can look at those on the PDF. So the inversions. Onto inversions, baby. Inversions are, well, so we've got our triad. Best way to show inversions is to show them, I think. So here we've got our triad. Now, if we make this D note an octave higher in the chord, and we add that to the chord, then we take off that D note, the original one, we've now got an inversion, which is where the third is a root. The third becomes the lowest note. And that is what an inversion is. It's where the lowest note is now one of the other chord tones. So the third or the fifth. A first inversion is, because you get two of them, double the goodness. A first inversion is where, I hope this is recording. A first inversion is where your third note is the lowest note, like in this chord. It's still a D major triad, but it's a first inversion D major triad. Now a second inversion would be one with the fifth note as the lowest. Yeah. And you can see all the other inversions on blog post as well. For example, here we have our major. And our other major. These are all second inversions. These are all types of inversions. You can find, if you want more inversions, go on the internet and type in chord inversions. Open chord inversions, because then you'll get inversions of all the chords of like D, C, G. This is a beginner's lesson for ambient guitar, by the way, just to be clear. Now the last segment of this recording is going to be about add 9 chords. Actually, this isn't the last bit because I've got a treat for you where I'm going to play something at the end. Yes. Here we have our add 9 chords. This is the last informational part. So an add 9 chord is simply a major chord with an added 9th note. Now, the colour added by the 9th note, which is actually a second note in the scale, which is played an octave higher, is what adds to this loveliness. Here, I'll show you. So, we have got a major chord, right? Got our root, 5th, root, and 3rd. To add a 9th note, we just need to replace the root with a 9th note. So root to the second note, and because this second note is an octave higher, for instance, if it was just a plain second note, would play it on the lower string, but because we're playing it an octave higher, it becomes a 9th note. So the notes, this is where the notes are numbered. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we have this. Now this is one of my favourite chords. Oh, it sounds good. It sounds really good, especially everywhere. So this is the difference between a major chord and an add 9 chord. Here we've got other chords like a D major to a D add 9. Once again, we've changed the root to a 9th note by simply, we've changed the root to a 9th. This, and the root, instead of playing the root, we now play a second note, which is an octave higher than the second note from the lowest root note. So for instance, this is a second, and because we're going all the way up past the root again, which is the number 8, we now go up to 9. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lovely, jubbly, that's how we do it. So here is the lovely jubbliness that I promised you. Yes. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Beautiful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, fellow travellers. If you've got any questions, use the hashtag AskJimJam, and I will get back to you. Use it on Twitter or Instagram, social media. And yeah, thank you very much. See you later.